Don't listen to guys who say you can only wear cap-toe Oxford shoes with a suit. In today's video, I'm gonna talk about 10 boots that look dynamite when dressed up, because sometimes you just want a boot. And remember, boots aren't just for work. Like, even if you're a civilian, boots are better at ankle support and stability and limiting foot pain and keeping water out of your socks. And more than that, sometimes you just want a boot. So boots, they're cool. And the boots in this list are sleek and formal, and no one will ever see the higher shaft when you're standing in them anyway. I'm letting you know the best dress boots, and the first one is actually brand new to the scene while also being the most recognizable model in the dress footwear category. It's the Park Avenue boot from Allen Edmonds. Anyone who has ever worn a suit for work knows or should know that the go-to dress shoe, the one that everyone gets when you're leaving college to head to your corporate job, is the American-made Park Avenue from Allen Edmonds. It's the preeminent Oxford cap-toe, and it showcases the dress shoe ideals of, number one, hidden eyelets. So you see here, you don't see metal eyelets on top, like cluttering up the look. They're on the underside. And number two, of closed lacing. So you see here where the quarters are the laces, like the lace panel stitches underneath it, that goes underneath the vamp. If you're a rule follower, and look, dressy attire tends to have more rules, that's like a must of dressier footwear. The Park Avenue is an absolute dress shoe icon with over 2 million pairs sold in the 40 years since its debut. And now that it's a boot, it's a no-brainer that this is the best dress boot. In addition to being American-made with excellent calfskin leather, which is the go-to for less rugged, more dressy footwear because it ages and wrinkles more finely. In addition to that, Allen Edmonds is at the top of their fit game here with a massive range of widths from quadruple A to triple E. They got a leather sole as well, plus it comes in 4 colors, including a navy that would look just fire with a gray suit. The Park Avenue here will convince any dress boot skeptic. But Allen Edmonds isn't cheap, so if you want a picture-perfect Balmoral boot for $207.20, get the Elliott from Beckett Simonon. Also with a sleek last, also with closed lacing, hidden eyelets, rich calfskin leather, just like the Park Avenue. There's a solid argument to be made that this is the best dress boot. Park Avenue has the infinite cultural cachet, to be fair, and they're also American-made, whereas the Elliott here is made in Colombia. But the Elliott really does tick just about all the same boxes, besides the fact that there's just one width, if that bugs you. It differs with some subtle broguing on the toe cap here, which might put off some purists, but the narrow waist and almond toe last and all the other touches I mentioned don't get outshone by the broguing here, right? This remains a dress boot. It's a Balmoral boot, and that's what's called when it has like this seam running the length of the quarter here, which makes for a more formal and streamlined look than other kinds of footwear. And the price is definitely right. It's $259, but I have this code called STRIDE that brings it down to $207 at checkout. Hopefully, when you see this video, assuming it's still gonna be there. The only downside with the Balmoral Elliott here, besides the widths, I guess, is that they're made to order, which is actually good for the environment, and it's a big part of keeping the price so low. But you're also gonna be waiting like 2 months, maybe more. It sort of depends on when you order them, but it's like 2 or 3 months from clicking purchase to these arriving at your door. I say it's worth the wait, and I actually really like the feeling of wearing boots that you know were made just for you. And it can also mean a slightly better fit because the leather and the cork underfoot are still fresh, and so they mold to your foot like a little bit more quickly. So I say it's worth the wait, especially given the remarkably low price of the Elliott boot from Beckett Simonon. Check them out. All right, the best Chelsea for suits. Some guys will insist you can't wear Chelseas with suits. Those guys are liars because there's a company world-renowned for their very elegant, refined, sleek, dressy calfskin Chelsea boots, and they are Carmina, a family-owned business on the Spanish island of Mallorca who have been making footwear there for over 150 years. They're currently owned by the 5th generation of the Albaladejo family. They're well known for their Chelseas, and for a suit boot, you're gonna wanna go with the Simpson. So that's the name of the last here that they make it on. This boot's got an elongated and slightly squared off toe that makes for like a really elegant model, and with leather insole and midsole and outsole, it's unbelievably soft and comfortable underfoot while also being like surprisingly flexible and refined for a Goodyear welt. The Goodyear welt construction means it's fully resolable. All the boots on this list are resolable, by the way. Carmina's Chelseas are made with box calf leather, so it's an extra special kind of calfskin leather. It has a lot of tensile strength, but again, wrinkles very finely as it ages. This black one is from Germany's Weinheimer Tannery. Most of the other colors are from France's Tannery du Puy. They're not cheap either, but I am comfortable talking about pricier brands here because when you want to look your best or you're going to a fancy job where you got to wear a suit, guys are usually happy spending extra on footwear that will like, yeah, impress their contemporaries. You also feel better when your footwear is more expensive, let's be honest. But they'll also last a really long time. You get what you pay for here. So these are almost $600, but you can rest assured you'll get at least 10 years out of these boots here. If you like the look of a dressy Chelsea, but you don't want to pay Carmina prices, Thursday Boot Company has the Cavalier for $190. And they're also incredibly well-made boots. They have several Chelsea models, the Legend and the Duke. Those are the more casual ones. The Cavalier is the dressier Chelsea at Thursday Boot Company. They've got a sleeker aesthetic. And while I've got these suede ones that aren't that dressy, they've also got a few smooth full grain leathers that are plenty formal and will look good with a suit if you're looking for a Chelsea. The Cavalier's Goodyear welt is also nice and close to the upper to keep them from looking too much like work boots. They've also got a nice flat leather sole, but with recessed studs to add some grip without giving like a chunky sole, so it keeps it nice and sleek and formal looking. And $190 is the best value boot on this list. You don't have to wait for them to be made either. And in general, Thursday Boot Company makes like the best value boots on the market, easily. And speaking of which, I also wanted to highlight the often overlooked Wingtip boot. This is the Thursday's Wingtip boot. It's a bit pricier at $235 because it uses a bit more leather and it has a bit more work put into this ornamental broguing here. It's probably not right for a tuxedo, but a lot of guys like brogue boots as a dressy footwear option. Originally, broguing was invented to help water run off of a boot's upper, and it was common in like country boots and hunting boots in England. And this Wingtip boot is also a sleek model. It's actually sleeker than what is probably the most famous brogued boot, which is the Stowe from Trickers, which I considered including in this. I own those boots as well, but it's still, the Thursday's model is slimmer, and the Trickers one is still a bit outdoorsy, I think. Thursday is obviously a brand I really like. These Wingtip boots are resolable, they're water resistant, they've also got shock absorbing footbeds, which is unusual, and they come in a bunch of colors. I really like this suede Wingtip boot with a crepe sole for something like plenty informal. But yeah, they've got also plenty of dressy leathers that are ready for anything. Next, I'm really glad to finally talk about wedding boots. And without a doubt, you need to go to taftclothing.com. Weddings can obviously go in a million different directions as far as dress codes go. But as big love parties, people generally tend to be a bit more playful with their style at weddings. Suits are lighter colored. And when it comes to footwear, I am astonished at how many friends and friends of friends I see at weddings on my Instagram who are wearing boots from Taft. There is no better brand if you're looking for a fun boot. My own here are the Jack boot with its gray wool upper and burgundy toe cap and counter. It's their best known boot and it looks really good with a blue suit. I've rocked it at many, many weddings. But like, look at these other ones. Like this Rome boot here, I see it worn a lot with like light gray suits. If you've just got a black suit, this Jack boot here is a great way to add flair to that more somber color scheme. And there are a bunch of others as well. Like they get really, really playful and innovative with their patterns. If you're comfortable doing a one and done wedding outfit, you can scratch your non-conformist itch here at Taft. But also the boots are resolable and they last a while. And a lot of the seemingly wild styles can actually work pretty well with jeans as well. So you might find yourself wearing them after the wedding too. In that vein, if there's something in particular that's in your mind's eye and you wish you could own it, you should know about this company that makes custom boots in under a month as well. Everyone is sleeping on Idris, this company. Go to the link in the description and it'll take you to this page where you can click on a boot. You can pick absolutely every component of the boot there.
Totally forgot I've got a discount code Stridewise, gets $15 off at Idris.
You can, like if you want like white box cuff, you can do that. You can get a dressy black one as well. You can get it made of suede. You can make it of linen or blue leopard print if you want. It's wild, anything you want. You can pick the lining too. Like this is a pair I whipped up that are just black box cuff, leather sole, like classic dress kind of boot. But like maybe you've got a brown suit and blue shirt and you wish you had like a light brown suit, like a tan boot with a blue toe cap to balance it. You can make that. You can get as weird as you want, and these days they can get you the boots in under a month, which is breakneck fast for a totally custom boot. Idris is very cool. You should know about them. And I also couldn't do this list without mentioning James Bond, because if anyone knows more about all-terrain footwear that'll pair well with a suit, it's a dude who exclusively wears footwear from Crockett and Jones, a very esteemed company founded in 1879 in Northampton, England, where they still make all their footwear today. So again, with this list, I'm trying to include inexpensive and higher end stuff because there's a really wide range that guys ask for when it comes to dressy footwear. And while Bond has won a lot of Crockett & Jones boots, including this meaty all-weather Islay boot and these rough out molten chukkas, he dressed well in those, but he didn't like dress up like James Bond does. So if you're keen to wear a boot that James Bond wore, not just with a suit, with a three-piece suit and tie in Spectre, it's the Camberley. It's this toe that's got like a chisel toe, but it's also sleek and pointed, luxury European calfskin. and a nice double buckle style that makes it like a chukka combined with a double buckle monk shoe. The 348 last it's made on is the only one that Bond wears, and a fun fact, Daniel Craig is actually the guy who got MGM to put Bond in Crockett and Jones because the actor was already a big fan of them. These boots do currently run for $815, but you know, luxury is not cheap. And given the quality and the fact that they're resolable, you should know that they'll last you for likely decades. I also actually visited Crockett & Jones' store in New York City up here, if you want to check that out. I wanted to do a dark horse. I wanted to mention Jodhpur boots. These ones by Meerman are pretty cool. Jodhpurs are laceless, so people put them in the Chelsea category sometimes. I wouldn't, but they're secured with this distinctive strap that encircles the upper ankle. But the lack of laces can make them look a little like a Chelsea underneath the trouser cuff. These ones here are elegant and minimalist and made in really nice black calf leather from Tannery du Puy, like the same place Carmina gets their calf skin. And it's constructed with a Goodyear welt for really good water resistance and resolability. This pair here belongs to Humphrey. He is an editor at Stridewise.com who did complain a lot to me about the break-in on these. That's often the price you pay for the durability of a Goodyear welt. But now that they're broken in, he says they're extremely comfortable. And at $265, they are radically affordable as well. This is definitely an inexpensive category on this list. And then number 10, lastly, if you want a waterproof dress boot, the options are definitely limited, but Allen Edmonds, again, back to Allen Edmonds, they have the Hamilton, which is a brogued boot in an interesting line that they call Weatherproof, which is essentially waterproof while keeping the good looks you want for the office and the resolable construction that you want from a quality boot. Usually waterproof boots aren't resolable, but what Allen Edmonds does is they make this, they say weatherproof with, number one, by using a storm welt, which is a more water resistant version of a Goodyear welt. And then more importantly, they put a weatherproof membrane in the lining. That's why it's still resolable, but it's still waterproof. They have weatherproof versions of a lot of their classic boots, like the Higgins Mill and the Patton, but since we're talking about dress boots and we want to err on the side of hidden eyelets, that's usually an important feature here. The only one with hidden eyelets is the Hamilton in their weatherproof line. Plus it's also got closed lacing, so it ticks the boxes of dressy footwear that most people want. On top of all that, like the Park Avenue, it is made in America and it has widths ranging from quadruple A to triple E, which is really good. They also don't come in black, which is a shame, but they have many shades of brown, so it's not too hard to work into dressy environments, probably on the end of business casual though. All right, man, that's my list of the 10 best dress boots. I've got an article in the description below where I have a couple more. I put a cowboy boot in there if that's the kind of stuff you're interested in, but that's a pretty good lay of the land of boots that, yeah, they're not casual and they've got all the features that people tend to want from dressy footwear, and they're definitely gonna scratch that boot itch if you need something you gotta wear with a suit to the office or even a nicer occasion. That's the video. Make sure you subscribe here as well. I have a fanatical obsession with quality resolable footwear, especially made in America stuff. I'm one of those immigrants that's really obsessed with the American industry. I'm totally in love with it. So subscribe here for more stuff on quality footwear and also quality apparel that'll last a long time. That's it. See you next one.